Picture this. You're standing in your kitchen, holding a totally ordinary metal dog bowl,
Okay.
and you are currently locked in this tense, high-stakes hostage negotiation with a Siberian husky.
Oh, the classic husky standoff.
Right. And their crime. Dinner is, I don't know, roughly 4 minutes late. And this animal isn't just barking at you. They are throwing a full-blown, operatic, toddler-level temper tantrum,
Yeah,
complete with these, like, yowls and groans that sound suspiciously like human arguing.
that's uncanny, really.
Or maybe you're just trying to give your Shiba Inu a bath, and they unleash a scream so blood-curdling that your neighbors are probably peering out their windows.
Calling the authorities.
Exactly. And you look down at this creature, this direct descendant of the majestic apex predator gray wolf, and you have to wonder, how on earth did we get here?
It's a staggering evolutionary leap. I mean, you go from the stoic, invisible silence of a wilderness predator to, well, a creature that will literally sigh at you heavily because you took their preferred spot on the sofa.
Yes, a heavy sigh.
But the research we have in front of us today proves that those theatrics, they are entirely by design.
And that design is exactly what we are digging into today. We've got our hands on a great stack of sources centered around this really comprehensive ethological and genetic investigation. It's called the Histrionic Canine.
It's a fantastic paper.
It really is. So the mission of this deep dive is to figure out why certain dog breeds are just absolute drama queens. We want to prove that these theatrics aren't just quirky personality traits you accidentally encouraged.
Right. It's not just a training failure.
Exactly. They are highly sophisticated, 30,000-year-old evolutionary adaptations designed specifically to manipulate you.
And decoding that manipulation is vital because, understanding this drama isn't just about laughing at funny internet videos.
Those are great.
Oh, they're the best. But it's really about unlocking the incredibly complex, nuanced social bond between humans and canines. When we break down why a dog throws a tantrum or, say, gives you the side eye, we are actually translating a 30-millennia-long conversation between our two species.
Okay, let's unpack this biology. Let's get into that conversation. Because reading through these sources, I had a massive pushback question.
Sure. What was it?
Well, when a dog is giving us those sad eyes or wailing about a delayed walk, are they actually experiencing the complex human emotions we project onto them? Or, did they just biologically hack our brains to get what they want?
It leans heavily toward a biological hack.
Really?
Yeah, though it's a highly advanced and interactive one. If we look at the genetic scaffolding provided in these recent large-scale genomic analyses, researchers actually mapped the DNA of over 100 different dog breeds.
Wow, over 100.
And they pinpointed 131 specific sites of variation.
Wait, 131?
131.
That feels like a massive amount of genetic real estate dedicated just to how a dog acts.
It is massive. And the data reveals that genetics account for 60 to 70% of the variation in traits like attention-seeking, trainability, and vocal reactivity.
60 to 70%.
Yeah. Think about what that means for a second. If you have a highly dramatic vocal dog, the vast majority of that behavior is hardwired into their neural architecture.
Oh, wow.
You didn't just create a spoiled monster by giving them too many treats. That operating system was installed before they were even born.
So it's literally like they downloaded a human manipulation software update that their wolf ancestors just never had access to.
That analogy holds up incredibly well, especially when you look at the specific lines of code in that software update.
Tell me more.
Take herding and working lineages, for example. Researchers found 14 specific gene variants in those dogs that are critical for establishing communication pathways between different regions of the brain.
Okay, so their brains are wired differently.
Exactly. These variants essentially dictate hyperattentiveness. So a working dog's brain isn't just reacting to a ball being thrown. It is genetically primed to monitor your micro-expressions.
Seriously, micro-expression.
Yeah, to mirror your stress levels and react to environmental shifts with this extreme, almost hair-trigger sensitivity.
So they're reading us like a book.
Yeah.
But the hardware got upgraded to match the software, right? Because they physically look different when they manipulate us.
Yes. You see that most clearly in the facial anatomy. There is a very specific muscle. It's called the levator, anguli, oculi, medialis.
Let me guess, that translates to the puppy dog eyes muscle.
You've got it. It's exactly that. It allows them to raise their inner eyebrows. And here's the kicker. Gray wolves do not have this muscle.
No way. It's totally new.
Completely new. It evolved strictly in domestic dogs, and it serves one primary, incredibly effective function. It mimics the facial expressions of human infants.
Oh, that is insidious.
It is. When a dog uses that muscle, it triggers a massive release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone in the human brain. They evolved an entirely new facial muscle just to hijack our innate mammalian drive to nurture babies.
It's wild. They physically reshape their own faces to play our heartstrings like a violin.
Precisely.
So, knowing the neurological hardware and the genetic software are both fully installed, I want to look at how this plays out in our living rooms. Let's look at the loudest software programs currently running,
The vocalizers.
the vocalizers. The Siberian Husky usually takes the top spot here. But why are they so uniquely loud?
Well, to understand the husky, you really have to look at their environmental blueprint. They were developed by the Chukchi people of Siberia as endurance sled dogs.
Okay.
In that harsh, frozen, whiteout environment, survival depended entirely on high-intensity, constant communication. You had to be able to hear your pack, and the human handlers had to be able to hear the dogs over the wind.
So silence literally meant death.
Ex-
But what gets me about Huskies is the way they vocalize. Like, they rarely just bark.
Right.
The sources break down their acoustic profile, and it's all vocal mimicry. They use the melodic woo-woo for greetings, they have this high-frequency scream for frustration, and they chatter. When a husky argues with you, it pitch matches a complaining toddler.
Yes.
Why that specific sound?
Well, huskies are what ethologists call a basal breed, meaning their DNA is much closer to the ancestral wolf genome than modern European breeds. Because they don't have human language, they rely on primitive vocalizations to bridge the gap.
Ah, I see.
That screaming and chattering is an ancestral pack call being repurposed for living room negotiation. They are incredibly intelligent, so through trial and error, they learn exactly which acoustic pitch triggers an involuntary reaction from their human.
Oh, so they know if they hit that one shrieking frequency, we will eventually break down and give them the treat just to make the sounds stop.
Yep. If we connect this to the bigger picture, that is an inclusive use of drama. The husky uses noise to demand your participation.
They want you engaged.
Right. But if you look at another basal breed with similarly ancient genetics, the Shiba Inu, you see a completely different evolutionary application.
Oh, the Shiba Inu drama is fascinating because it's the polar opposite of inclusive. The source actually calls them the dramatic guardian of autonomy.
Which is the perfect title. The Shiba Inu is Japan's oldest native breed, dating back to 300 BC. Like the Huskies, they have strong wolf-like genetics.
Okay.
But their survival didn't depend on pulling sleds in a massive group. They were agile hunters in mountainous terrain. Their drama is entirely defensive.
So the Husky screams to force you to play, but the Shiba screams to force you to back off.
Exactly.
And that scream is legendary. The research describes it as a high-pitched, blood-curdling shriek, and it's usually triggered by something completely mundane.
Like a routine nail trim.
Yes, or someone just picking them up without getting express permission first.
Right. It is a highly theatrical, exaggerated response designed biologically to startle a predator. If a human violates their autonomy, they unleash this sound to instantly reestablish their physical boundary.
Wow. And when they aren't using the scream, they employ the Shiba stare.
Oh, I've seen the stare.
It's a silent, intense, judgmental gaze that can last for minutes. It's an ancestral tool of social dominance, quietly letting the human know they disapprove of the current situation.
I love that contrast. The husky argues with you, but the Shiba Inu just judges you in dead silence.
Very harshly.
So harsh. Now, what about a dog that was bred to hunt, but within a massive group? Does the drama change there?
It shifts entirely into narration. Take the beagle.
Oh, beagles.
Unlike a solitary hunter, beagles were bred to work in large, sprawling packs where they had to track scents through dense brush. If you are a scenthound in a pack, you have to constantly broadcast your location and your findings to the rest of the group.
So in a modern home, that translates to a dog that feels biologically compelled to narrate every single moment of their existence.
You're their pack, so they report to you. The sources talk about the bay, that deep, drawn-out, seal-like bellow. Historically, that meant, I've found a rabbit. Today it means, I've found half a cracker under the sofa.
Exactly. Every new scent is a major event requiring a full theatrical production. Their drama is a blend of intense curiosity and the biological mandate to report their findings to you, their pack leader.
That makes a lot of sense for the vocalizers. But, some dogs don't use sound to manipulate us at all. They use physical comedy and anatomical leverage.
The visual actors.
Right, I want to shift to the visual actors. How does a dog like a dachshund end up with such a huge, stubborn personality?
Well, the dachshund is a textbook case of form dictating behavior. They were engineered for a highly dangerous job, pursuing aggressive prey like badgers into dark subterranean dens.
Badgers are terrifying.
Exactly. To survive underground against a cornered badger, a dog must possess extreme confidence, persistence, and an absolute refusal to back down.
Which totally explains why a 10-pound dog acts like they own the house.
Absolutely.
The research zeroes in on their primary weapon of manipulation, the bombastic side eye. They expose the whites of their eyes in this exaggerated glance of skepticism.
It's very expressive.
And if you deny them something, they don't scream like a husky. They turn their back, emit these low-frequency huffs, and just sulk. It's pure theatrical stubbornness.
They are projecting self-importance.
Oh.
And you see a different kind of anatomical leverage in the basset hound.
Oh, the basset. The basset hound is like a method actor who refuses to break character, using its heavy skeleton as a weapon of passive resistance.
That is exactly what they do. The basset was bred in France and Belgium as a slow-moving pack hunter. The breeders didn't want speed, they wanted endurance and incredible scent capability.
Okay.
This resulted in a heavy skeleton, loose skin, heavy facial folds, and a very low center of gravity.
The source actually calls them the tragedy king, because they look like they're experiencing perpetual heartbreak.
Physiologically, their the tissue around the eye and their heavy brows create a sad clown illusion. And they leverage that heavy, thick-bodied build beautifully. Their favorite dramatic protest is going dead weight on a walk.
Oh, the deadweight flop.
Yeah. If they decide they don't want to go in a certain direction, they just flop over. Their unique anatomy makes it almost impossible for a human to move them without looking ridiculous.
They just anchor themselves. So we've covered dogs bred to hunt or work. What happens to the biological blueprint when a dog is bred specifically not to work?
You get the pug.
Nah.
The pug's entire evolutionary purpose over centuries was to be a pampered companion to Chinese royalty. They were selected for charm, human-like reactions, and high expressiveness.
And as a brachycephalic or flat-faced breed, they have a unique toolkit. The sources highlight the legendary brachycephalic sigh, this incredibly heavy, dramatic groan they let out when mildly inconvenienced.
It's very dramatic.
But the wildest part is the pug scream at the vet. The research notes that this shriek often happens before the vet even touches them.
It's a preemptive strike. Their bulging eyes and wrinkled brows allow them to mirror human facial expressions with remarkable accuracy.
Wow.
They were bred to reflect the complex social emotions of the royal court, so they have mastered looking profoundly offended. And you see a similar emotional mirroring in the French bulldog.
Oh yeah, the Frenchies drama comes out in what the source calls Frenchy talk. They rarely do a standard bark, right?
Right. Because they were developed as lapdogs for the Parisian working class and socialites, their communication evolved into a complex system of howls, gargles, yips, and snorts.
Like an alien language.
Pretty much.
Sarah.
They engage in a preaching howl, throwing their entire body into the performance. They will proactively pout if they feel scolded unfairly, really playing the role of the emotional professional actor.
Okay, so anatomy is one thing. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when the drama isn't about physical leverage, but comes from a nervous system that is just dialed up to an 11?
The hypersensitive breeds.
Yeah. I was shocked to see the German Shepherd on the histrionic list. We picture them jumping out of helicopters, not crying on the sofa.
I know, it seems counterintuitive, but the exact traits that make a German Shepherd an elite working dog are what cause the drama.
How so?
Let's go back to those 14 gene variants for neural guidance we discussed earlier. A German Shepherd's nervous system is highly reactive. They are hyper-intelligent and possess intense focus.
Right, they don't miss a thing.
Because they feel everything intensely, a minor physical slight, like bumping a toe on a door frame, triggers the GSD scream.
Just from a bumped toe?
Yes. It sounds like an ear-piercing cry of agony, but it's just their hypersensitive nervous system overreacting to a minor stimulus.
They're just overflowing with feelings. Now contrast that massive dog with a Chihuahua. They're famous for the tremble and the screaming memes. Is that just a tiny nervous system short-circuiting?
It's actually an evolutionary defense strategy. Yeah. While trembling can indicate cold, behaviorally it signifies intense excitement, stress, or demanding attention. Think about a Chihuahua's reality. They are tiny creatures navigating a world of giants.
That's true. We're huge to them.
By being incredibly loud and physically trembling to catch the eye, they ensure they aren't stepped on or overlooked. Their over-the-top reaction to a passing shadow is how a small creature stays alive.
So the drama is literal survival. That makes me view them entirely differently.
It's very functional.
Now, what about the boxer? Their drama seems to be pure, boundless energy, the famous kidney bean dance where they wiggle their whole body into a C shape.
Oh, they're so exuberant.
But there's a specific behavior mentioned in the sources that I really want to ask about. The guilty face.
Ah, yes.
When my dog destroys a pillow and gives me that devastating side-eye look, I assume they know they did something morally wrong. Does the genetic data actually back that up?
This is one of the most important ethological distinctions in the research. Boxers and many other expressive breeds have mischievous eyes and wrinkled brows. When you scold them, they avoid eye contact and look absolutely devastated.
They really do.
But studies on canine cognition confirm they do not feel human guilt or remorse for the chewed pillow.
Wait, really? So they don't actually feel bad about what they did?
Not in a moral sense, no.
Wow.
What you are seeing is a highly dramatic, submissive display. The dog is reacting to your angry tone and tense body language in the present moment. They are performing an ancestral appeasement behavior designed entirely to de-escalate a larger predator's anger.
So they're trying to calm me down.
The drama is functional. They're saying, look how small and non-threatening I am. Please calm down.
And we fall for it every single time.
We do.
We project this entire human narrative of guilt and apologies onto them. Which brings us to a really critical tension in these sources. The dark side of drama.
Yes, this is crucial.
With all these wild behaviors, the screaming, the trembling, the destruction, how do we know if a dog is just putting on a manipulative show or if they are in genuine psychological distress?
This raises an important question, because this is where understanding the science becomes a matter of animal welfare.
Right.
We must differentiate between natural personality-based drama, which ethologists call high arousal, and clinical pathology, specifically separation anxiety or isolation distress.
Okay.
Misinterpreting genuine terror as cute drama is a very dangerous mistake.
So how do we spot the physiological difference? What are the telltale signs?
It really comes down to the trigger in the dog's internal state. Personality-based drama is audience-dependent.
Meaning they need someone watching.
Exactly. A husky throws a tantrum because you withheld a treat.
Yeah.
They are in a state of high arousal, yes, but they are generally happy or frustrated. They might play bow or sneeze while doing it.
Okay, I've seen that sneeze.
Most importantly, the drama stops once they get your attention or the reward.
Oh, like a kid throwing a fit in the grocery store. Once you buy him the candy, the tears magically dry up.
Exactly the same mechanism. But clinical separation anxiety is triggered exclusively by the absence of the attachment figure. The vocalizations aren't conversational. They are persistent, repetitive howling or crying.
That's so sad.
Physiologically, the dog's sympathetic nervous system is overloaded. They are in a state of sheer terror, akin to a human panic attack. You'll see excessive salivating, pacing, frantic attempts to escape that can result in bloody paws and house soiling.
Wow.
A dramatic dog rarely soils the house. A panic dog loses bodily control.
So the management for those two states has to be completely different. The sources stress that punishing true anxiety makes the terror infinitely worse.
It absolutely does.
But on the flip side, rewarding actual drama creates a behavioral monster. So if I give my screaming husky a treat just to quiet them down, am I basically paying them a royalty for their performance?
You are directly reinforcing the behavioral loop.
Oh.
Yeah, they learn that theatrics secure resources. And humans are culturally primed to reinforce this because of what the researchers call the Oscar effect.
The pop culture influence. Our perception of these dogs has been totally warped by Hollywood.
Media consistently casts breeds with high facial complexity and vocal traits to play emotionally rich human analogs.
Right.
We see the heroic, sensitive German Shepherd and Rin Tin Tin. We see the comedic, drooling Saint Bernard and Beethoven.
And Snoopy. Snoopy cemented the Beagle as a dramatic internal narrator for generations of people.
Absolutely.
And Frenchies are constantly used as quirky vocal status symbols in modern animated movies. Like, we expect our dogs to act like human actors because that's what we've been conditioned to see on screens.
And treating them like little humans is exactly where the behavioral problems start. The expert recommendations in the source material for living with histrionic breeds focus on respecting their nature, not our human projections. Synthesizing the actionable advice here. The number one takeaway for managing the drama is channeling the energy. For working breeds like Huskies and German Shepherds, the theatrics are often just a byproduct of intense boredom, right?
Yes, they are highly intelligent animals with unemployed minds.
Unemployed minds, I love that.
If you give them a job agility training, scent work, or even structured pulling on a walk,
Mm-hmm.
you fulfill their biological mandate and the living room tantrums decrease significantly.
Makes sense. And the second major tip is using positive reinforcement for calmness. Stop paying royalties for the screams. You have to reward the quiet moments.
Reward the silence.
And for independent dogs like the Shiba Inu, the data suggests you have to build trust by respecting their boundaries. If their drama stems from feeling violated, forcing physical affection just makes it worse.
Right. It requires consistent leadership. If the rules of your house are predictable, your dachshund feels less need to constantly negotiate through a bombastic side-eye.
Yeah.
It all comes down to recognizing that these Oscar-worthy behaviors are incredibly sophisticated communicative tools. It really reframes the annoyance, doesn't it? The husky screaming at you for dinner isn't just your dog being a jerk. It's a testament to a beautiful 30,000-year cross-species partnership. They reshaped their genetics, their facial muscles, and their vocal cords just to figure out how to connect with us.
It is a remarkable evolutionary achievement, and it leaves us with an interesting paradox to consider.
Oh.
We've spent 30 millennia breeding dogs to communicate their needs to us perfectly, but if we constantly misinterpret their drama through our own human lens, if we project complex human guilt onto a submissive boxer, or assume a dog in a state of clinical panic is just being a diva who is actually failing the communication test, the dog or us?
Oof. That is a fantastic question to leave you with. Next time your husky decides to hold up the dinner line with a 5-minute vocal solo, remember they are just running their evolutionary software perfectly. It's up to you to learn the language.